We bought this 2004 660 Rhino knowing it had a rod knock. We didn't listen to the engine run, just previous owner. Put a battery charger on it and we could hear it turn over and it sounded bad enough. Right now, so you can hear what a bad rod knock sounds like, gonna turn it over, got the spark plug out. This battery doesn't have a great charge in it, but it's enough to roll this engine over. So here goes. And there we got a little bit of oil. But that's what bad sounds like in a Rhino. And so just wanted to let you hear that before we start taking the engine apart. I will try it, I'm going to do it just with the spark plug in so you can hear that.
What'll that change?
You won't hear so much airflow out of the combustion chamber under the piston, but it's going to turn over much slower now. So you can definitely hear the knock. You can hear this weak battery struggling, but that loud knock is not supposed to be there. So we're going to get ready and take the valve cover off, cam cover, whatever you want to call it on this Rhino. Okay. What we're going to do before we start any disassembly is make sure that the piston is top dead center so we know where timing is. And we've removed this black inspection cover. And there is a mark on the flywheel, that letter I, which I assume is for ignition relative to top dead center. So I have this hub marked. I'm going to go around one revolution. So I have two marks here. I'm going to call that, actually I have three marks right here. You can see in there, Andrew, if you can get the camera in there. And here's what it looks like in the inspection hole. Okay. Just to verify that we're at top dead center, inserted a screwdriver, feel the top of the piston, and there's our mark that corresponds to the marks on the flywheel. We're approximately at top dead center. So I'm going to remove, as said before, I did do some cleaning on this. We're going to completely disassemble this engine, so I'm not overly concerned with any dirt that might fall into it, but I have cleaned it, done a reasonable amount of cleaning.
Is the only problem gonna be with the piston?
Well, the crankshaft and connecting rod. So those three will get replaced.
So everything else will be fine?
Well, we'll replace bearings. This engine has about 600 hours on it, and so once you get in, you have to replace the major component, the crankshaft. Might as well be replacing the other parts so you don't have to go back in there. And that is, the crankshaft is considered to be the bottom end, and so it's, yes, the bottom of the engine, and it's the hardest place to get to. So you don't want to get in there unless you have to. O-ring. Set this aside. We have 3 valves here. I believe this is a 5-valve engine. So high performance for ATV engine. And I call this an ATV engine because it started out in the Grizzly and then they adapted it to the Rhino. But these would be 3 intake valves because they're on the intake side of the engine, and then 2 exhaust valves because these are on the exhaust side of the cylinder head. Caps and O-rings. So there's the adjustments for the valves, the exhaust valves. And at top dead center, everything should be closed so I can feel a little bit of clearance on the intake valves and a little bit on the exhaust valves, so it is at top dead center. Everything's closed, it would be on a compression stroke. So now we're going to remove this cover and I'll remove this oil line.
So is the cover?
You can see it split right here.
Yep. So using Allen screws?
Well, first I'm going to remove this oil line, which appears to be 12 millimeter. So these are called banjo fittings because in a funny kind of way they look a little bit like a banjo. Usually they have a copper washer on the top and the bottom to seal it. The bolt will have a hole drilled in it and then a cross-drilled hole to allow oil to come up through the bolt, out the side of the bolt, and into the banjo fitting. And being able to have these external oil lines makes it much easier to machine these engine components rather than having a big casting where you've got to be able to drill it and put an oil passage in it. So we got to make sure, and the engine kit that we're going to buy, I expect will have copper sealing washers in it. There's one copper washer. There's the cross-drilled hole in the bolt, and then a hole in the end of the bolt. So oil comes in, probably coming in the side. Now this would be a return back to the engine. So. And have one retainer on the front here, which is 5mm Allen, retaining the oil line.
Should we work on taking the cover off?
Yeah, you can after I get out of your way. So you can start.
So all of these.
Yep,
two.
because it's gonna split right here.
Grab one that'll kind of.
You getting it, Andrew?
No.
How about I'll break them free and then you guys can remove them?
I think this one is, like, seems very tight.
So this engine is overhead valve and overhead camshaft, which is a better way to do it because then you don't have push rods and push rods flexing, so you can control the valve timing, or the valve movement, I should say, with less moving parts. Now for these screws, we don't want to take them all the way out. You can loosen all of them, and then we'll get the head or the cover loose. And then pull it off with the screws in place, because the screws are different
Back
lengths.
over.
And so how many screws do we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Oh.
16, 17. We'll confirm
Oh,
it.
I counted those.
Yeah,
Are those part of it?
not really. These are holding the cover on. That's just an inspection cover to be able to allow you to set the distance between the rocker arm and the valve.
Are you gonna get one that fits close, Quentin?
Okay. Apparently, since I've got another mechanic, I need to get another set of Allen wrenches. That one should help you loosen them. Is it too big? Too small to me? Okay. So this is where the brothers O'Toole are just starting to learn how to wrench and get wrenches in their hand and understand righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. But
Should we take them out now?
no, just get them fully loose.
Oh, like they could come out.
Yeah. But I want to pull the cover off. And keep all the screws in the cover. So we don't have to wonder which one goes where. I didn't loosen that one, Quentin. I don't, that's... May have to. In a few minutes, we'll get to a stopping point. The brothers are also responsible for watching the neighbor's house while they're away, so they have some duties over there. Okay. I'm gonna, I don't know, have a lot of sealant around here and a lot of surface area. Okay. Have a split line right here, and I think I am going to take out one more. So the split line is where one piece ends, one casting ends, and another one starts.
So it's like two pieces of a mold, or
Yeah.
that were a mold that they put together.
This one's coming out Unusually hard. See, it has thread locker on it. I'm expecting that this is maybe a cam retainer. I'm gonna set that one aside.
Why don't we need to get those two?
Oh, thank you. We do. Miss those two.
I asked about them before. And
Okay.
Said
I thought you were
didn't.
pointing at something else related to the valves.
I know. I heard it.
No, I don't want to tap with that. Okay, that's not put together. Excuse me, Quentin. There we go. Hey,
Oh.
How long ago? Any idea? Okay. So, there's a small notch near one of the exhaust ports to be able to pry without affecting the gasket surface. Okay. Got more than bargained for. Or the rocker arms.
Where's the piston?
Well, piston's still under there. But the camshaft and the rocker arms. The rocker arms ride on the cam lobes and then actuate the valves at the proper time. So we'll take a closer look at that later on. And now these are the bolts that hold the cylinder head on. But first I need to remove the camshaft I think this will be a good place to stop. So it's almost 8 o'clock Sunday night. School tomorrow. And we'll let the brothers get to bed. Take care of the neighbor chores and then get to bed. So for this evening,
We're the Brothers O'Toole. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Quentin.
I'm the old man. So have a good night and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Last night we removed the what's called the head cover. I'm probably going to call it the rocker box or rocker cover, but the rocker arms are located in this, in the S&S cycle world. This sort of similar to the rocker box cover to me, but and I'm just going to put some of the loose parts in here so we can find all of them. We've got it located at top dead center. There's 3 marks in there. 1 mark, 2 mark with a band between it. I've got it located on the 3rd line that's by itself. I don't know if that's a timing range. I'll figure that out later. I verified top dead center with this poker through the spark plug hole just to verify lack of piston movement at this position. And then also there are 2 dots on the cam sprocket that line up with the gasket surface of the cylinder head to indicate that it's at top dead center, along with 2 oil holes in the camshaft that are facing up at top dead center. And also being able to see, I guess I'll rotate this around, doing too much talking. Two holes at top dead center. And I can't remember what else I was going to say about top dead center. One of the retaining screws for the sprocket, so it all lines up. I'm going to remove the exhaust side cam chain tensioner, or the strip. I have already loosened the screws for the tensioner. On the intake side, so I'm going to pull that out, set that aside.
So what's that do?
This is spring loaded, and it applies tension to the cam chain to maintain tension on the chain so there's no slack, and then you can control the camshaft accurately with the rotation of the crankshaft. But to be able to, I can take this cam out with the sprocket on if I remove the slide or the exhaust side adjuster. So we're going to pull that out.
What's that made out of?
Plastic.
Oh.
So lubricated, and the chain is sliding on it. So now I can slowly work the chain off the cam sprocket, and now can lift.
Should the chain come out?
No, because it's attached to the crankshaft, or circulated around the crankshaft. And just to be safe, I will get a piece of wire to fish it out and hold it, just in case we need to.
Wouldn't it work to
I can probably retrieve it with that, but I'll use this wire to be able to keep it in position. So as most people know, you get a hook on it, okay. It is September of 2020, and we're in COVID times. So, but I'm not wearing a mask. Andrew's not wearing a mask. Quentin, want to come in front of the camera? Quentin's wearing a Kool-Aid mustache, but that's about all, no mask. So for tonight, want to be able to remove the cylinder head and so we have the 4 main cylinder head fasteners, and then it looks like we've got a couple 6mm screws. The intake manifold, of course, is going to come off with it, and then it looks like there's 1 screw here and another down here. So 4 from the top, 2 from below. And those look to be 13. I would like them to be 1/2 inch drive, but they're not. Must be, maybe they're even 12mm. They are 12mm.
So are we gonna take those off?
Yeah. So we got a total of 6. I'm gonna call them primary head bolts.